Hello, this is Andy for Gravit Poster Design Part 3, and this video tutorial will be quite short and quite similar to the previous. The only thing is that we will do a representation of your interactive setup in 3D. So I will show you how to work with perspective or isometric view. And also I will show you how to use Tinkercad and integrate it in your poster. So here I have a new blank page. Now I'm gonna activate the grid. Instead of using the square grid, I'm gonna change to isometric. I can change the size of the grid to accommodate the design I want. Let's stick with 10. Make sure that your objects are snapping to the grid by going to View, Snap to, and enabling Snap to Grid. Let me speed up the process and show you what I draw. I'm starting with the pedestal, and I'm just using a combination of the path tool and the subselect tool to create just the shapes in this isometric view. So quite simple, quite straightforward, and the rest is just keep working using the grid and the isometric view, repeating the steps we did in video tutorial number 2 and creating all the elements in your exhibition. A different approach to make a 3D representation would be to have a perspective view. We can then go on Tinkercad and make a quick model of our setup. Make sure that the perspective is enabled, because you can also have the isometric view in Tinkercad, so make sure you have the perspective. And then you just make a screenshot of it, copy and paste it in Gravit. And this will be our background image that we can lock and trace over it. Again, let me speed the process and create all the contours of this perspective view. Just a quick side note here, if you think your 3D model Tinkercad looks very good and you would like to use it, you can trace a path around it, mask the image and use it in the same way we did in the tutorial number 2. A good trick to be able to create some depth is to create a new path, cast a shadow on this marker for example, and then I will select a different color for it, a darker red, and then select both objects and then select the icon clip in the top menu, the one with a circle and a rectangle overlapping. This will clip the object on top in relation to the path below, so it's easier for you to create just a nice and defined shadow for that object in particular. Later on, you can keep selecting that path only and edit it to make adjustments like I'm doing now. While doing the edge of the screen, I realized I have some trouble aligning the corners. It didn't work well. Notice in the borders there is this little menu. I choose that the border will be inside the path I created. Also, I choose the subselect tool and add additional contour points so that my shape doesn't have a double border on the edge. Make sure that this object is behind the main screen. Now we're arriving to an end. You can see how this 3D view from Tinkercad is now becoming this vectorized drawing in perspective, and it looks much more clean, and I could add additional details in this drawing if I wanted to, and some notes with some arrows and describing what each component is. Alright, so that was it for today, and make sure to see the last video next week where I will show you how to integrate all these elements in our initial layout we did in the first tutorial, and I will also show you how to integrate it with some style so that it doesn't look so plain and you give it some personality. See you next week.